subject of the shiur today, it's going to be Tu B'Av. Tu B'Av, we're going to take place tomorrow night and Friday. How many of us we understand what is Tu B'Av? Sorry?
Never heard of it.
Never heard about it. No, that's Tu B'Shvat. Tu B'Av. Tu B'Av, because we're now in the month of Av. Just on Sunday, we celebrated Tisha B'Av. But here, Tu B'Av, now we're going to have לא חג הגאווה, Valentine Day. אהבה, Valentine Day. המציאו לזה שם, it's not real. I'll explain what it's Tu B'Av. Tu B'Av, before we start, we don't say Tahanun. You all know. So Oren tell us, you know, in Israel now, they give it a new name, Hag Ahava, Valentine Day. You think that in our holy Torah, this Valentine Day, and we're not going to say Tahanun, like Yom Tov.
So when we're not saying Tahanun?
On Friday. That means tomorrow in Mincha time, Rabotai, no Tahanun. And on Friday, no Tahanun. Okay.
No, there should be,
Sorry?
Thursday. Tomorrow's Thursday.
Tomorrow's Thursday, yes.
So it should be from Thursday night, Myra.
Yes, so tomorrow
You
night.
said Mincha.
Yeah, Mincha tomorrow.
Yes.
We don't say Tahanun.
From Friday.
For Mincha, yes, tomorrow. Yes.
Friday morning you say Tahanun. Friday morning you say Tahanun.
Never.
It's not Tu B'Av.
It is to be.
Tu B'Av start
Tu B'Av is tomorrow.
tomorrow night. Easy, you get confused. So let me repeat it again, Rabotai. Rabotai, you're getting too confused. Tu B'Av gonna be Friday. Jewish calendar start Tu B'Av tomorrow night. Mincha before we don't say, and Friday morning we don't say. You follow? Okay. Sorry, we don't say? It doesn't make a difference. Before we don't say Tahanun. You follow? Every Rosh Chodesh also we don't say. The same. It's like a Yom Tov. To understand that, what is Tu B'Av, we have to go to the Mishnah in Masechet Ta'anit. The Mishnah in Masechet Ta'anit, chapter 4, okay? Chapter 4, Mishnah Het. The Mishnah tells us like this. Amar Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel say, לא היו ימים טובים לישראל כט"ו באב וכיום הכיפורים. That means that the Jewish people didn't have good days like Tu B'Av and Yom HaKippurim. We'll see what the connection between Yom Kippur to Tu B'Av. But first, let's try to understand what is Tu B'Av. Why we don't say Tahanun. Why our sages decide not to make a Tahanun on Tu B'Av. Let's see what it says. But to give us a bit of a... Sorry, David?
What is Tu B'Av?
Tu B'Av is the 15th of Av. Sorry, it's my mistake. Tu B'Av, it's not two like in English. Tu B'Av, it's Tetvav. Tetvav B'Av, that means the 15th of Av. On Friday, that means Thursday night, going to be the 15th of Av. Like we have Tisha B'Av, the 9 of, in the month of Av, the 9 days in Av. 15 on the month of Av, going to be Tu B'Av. It's a short. What is Tu B'Av? We have to see, and we're going to explain that 6 things happen to the Jewish people. I'm going to bring the good things that happen to us, and then we're going to link it to Yom HaKippurim and to the mistake that many of the Israelis today call it Hag Ahava. Hag Ahava means Valentine's Day. So let's start. Rabbi ורבי יוסף אומרים, the two sages, Rabbi and Rabbi Yosef, say, יום שבו פסקו לכרות עצי המערכה. That means that's the day that they stop cutting the trees for the Mizbeach, for the altar. What's so good about that? You know, to make fire on a Mizbeach, on an altar, they needed wood. And if you need wood, you need to cut them. So the Jewish people, now in Israel is summer. They used to go out and they used to cut trees. But it not was a simple tree. We have to understand what kind of a trees it have to be. The tree have to be dry, number one, that there is no moisture inside the logs. You follow what I'm saying? Because you can't put a wet tree on top of the altar. You can't make fire with it. Not only that, there is one more thing. That they have to check every tree that they cut. Every log that they cut have to be free of worms. You know why? Because worm is not kosher, nachon? You can't put a non-kosher stuff where on an altar. Okay, so that's the day that they stop. Hazal explained the main reason is, one second, Lionel. The main reason is because on Tu B'Av, that day, the sun starts getting weak. It's not as strong like before. So then, they stop cutting those trees to prepare those trees. So what's a good Yom Tov about it? Hazal asking. What, you stop cutting tree, you stop preparing for the altar. So what's good about it? Hazal explained the main reason is because now Am Yisrael going back where? To study Torah. That's why it's a Yom Tov. Because until now, you cannot study Torah. They was busy cutting trees. And they can't study Torah. So what's so good about it? That they have time now to start studying Torah again. That was the good Yom Tov. The one idea of it's a good Yom Tov. That's again Rabbi and Rabbi Yossi. Everyone understand so far? Okay, let's move on. Rabbi Yehuda, Beshem Rabbi Ishmael Omer. Rabbi Yehuda, in the name of Rabbi Ishmael, said something else. Listen what he said. יום שבו הותרו השבטים לבוא זה בזה. Remember, you remember that during the time that the Jewish people left Egypt, they used to separate it to separate tribes. Shevet Levy, only Shevet Levy. Shevet Shimon, only Shevet Shimon. You follow? They cannot mix. They cannot remix each other. What's happened? The 12 tribes. Now, in Tu B'Av, in the 15th of Av, they allowed everyone to start between the tribes to remarry. Until now, they could not marry. If it was a man from the tribe of Shimon, he have to find a wife from the tribe of Shimon. Until the 15th of Av, that all allowed to get remixed between the tribes. You understand what I'm saying? When is it happen? It's happened in Bamidbar. What's happened there? You remember that Tzlofhad, remember Tzlofhad? That he died. So his 5 daughters came to Moshe Rabbeinu. And they said, listen, our father died Bamidbar. Now we're going to inherit Eretz Israel. We're supposed to have a portion. Why are we not going to have a portion? Because our father didn't have a son. We're not going to be entitled for a portion? How come? What's happened? Moshe Rabbeinu said to them, okay, let me ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the Almighty said that they entitled to inherit in Eretz Israel, to get a portion in Eretz Israel. And from that day, Bin Paskin, Hazal tell us that they allowed all the tribe to get remarried one with each other. That means from now on, in the 15th of... לא, בכלל לא נכון, mistake. I'll show you where it come Hag Ahava. Hag Ahava didn't come from there. I'll tell you where it come later, wait. So, from that day, all the 12 tribes can marry each other. Until then, each tribe is supposed to be married just with themselves. That's the second good things that happen. Keep the Hag Ahava, just before the end I'll tell you. It's not because that they call it. I'll tell you why they call it. They came with the idea that there it should call Hag HaShiduchim, not Hag Ahava. It's supposed to be Hag HaShiduchim, because it's talking about Shiduchim. We'll explain to you. Okay. The third things that happen on the 15th of Av, Rabbi Yosef, Beshem Rabbi Nachman. Rabbi Yosef say in the name of Rabbi Nachman. Listen what he said. Yom שהותר בו שבט בנימין לבוא בקהל. What's happened? You know the story of Pilegesh Givah. Everyone know that?
No.
No. Okay, so we have to explain. What's happened in Pilegesh Givah? I'm going to tell it short because it's not part of the show, but I'll explain. It was a man that he had what we call Pilegesh. Pilegesh, it's like a second wife, or in English, the right word to say concubine. Huh? No, Chas v'shalom, a concubine, he married her. She belonged to him. No, not affair, Chas v'shalom. It belonged to him, she belonged to him, but she's not his main wife. You follow what I'm saying? So this woman, one day decided to go back to, they have a fight with the husband, and she gone to her father's house. She left him. He followed her, and he come to ask the father, listen, I want to take her back to my house. They make peace, he stay with his father, he stay for one day, and then the father asked him, stay for another day. Say yes. Anyway, in the end he said to him, listen, I need to go back to my house. He said, but it's night, stay another day, and then you go tomorrow. No, I need to go. He decided to go. When they got there, it was late at night. They got to the territory where the tribe of Binyamin is. And in that territory, they found an old man that hosted them in their house. So they came to the house, he given them something to eat and to drink. And the next thing, the tribe of some part of the tribe of Binyamin came and knocked on the door. We want to know who's your visitor. Lahavdi like Zdom. And anyway, to make the story short, the husband decided, you know what, I'll give them the concubine. And it said there in the Pasuk that they raped her. I don't want to go to detail. All night. And at the end of the day, she managed to get to the step door. She knocked on the door, and she fell there, and she died. The husband was so cross, and he cut the woman to 12 pieces, and he took it to the Sanhedrin. And he said to them, look what your people done, that tribes. And they asked the tribe of Binyamin, bring us those people that sin, that does those sin. We want to put them into a court. We want to put them to din. They can't do such thing. How can you do such thing? So the Sanhedrin forced Shevet Binyamin to bring them. Shevet Binyamin resist, didn't agree to it. Not only that they didn't agree, when they've been put into the corner, Shevet Binyamin, they said to him, if you're not going to bring us those people, we're going to actually come and force you to take it. We're going to come to war against you. And they agreed. And it was a big war that Hazal tell us there, not Hazal, it's Seder in Ektuvim, that 120,000, about 120,000 Jewish people got killed.
Sure.
And then the Sanhedrin paskin that no one from the other 11 tribe will marry any member of the Benjamin tribe. None of them. Not men, not a woman. What's happened then? Then they saw that the tribe actually almost coming to distinguish. Completely. Nothing left. If they're not going to start marrying them, nothing going to left from the tribe of Binyamin. Everything going to be wiped off. So what's happened after that? They decide, when the Sanhedrin saw that, after many years, they decide to allow them, the other 11 tribes, to remarry the tribe of Binyamin, and that was, again, on the 15th of Av. That's the 13 good things that happen in Av. So now we are so far 3. Remember, I just repeat them quick. The number 1 is that they stop cutting the trees for the altar, for Bet HaMikdash, for the Mizbeach and Bet HaMikdash, and they've gone back to study Torah. The second thing that all the 12 tribes allowed to remarry. The third one, that Shevan Binyamin now allowed, that other tribe allowed to marry members of Shevan Binyamin. The fourth thing that happened to the Jewish people, now I'm going back, you know when? To the time, to the last year, just before the Inter Eretz Israel. That means when Bnei Israel was in Bamidbar, the 39 years, the last 39 years, let's see what it says. Rabbi Yohanan say, Yom shekalu bo mate midbar. What does it mean? Rabbi Yohanan say that on the 15th of Av, when it was the 39 years, the end of 39 years, they stopped dying. All the members that left Egypt, that the person that was from the age of 20 to the age of 60 have a decree. You remember when it happened? When the spy came from Eretz Israel and talked Lashon Hara about Eretz Israel, it was a decree that all of that generation for 40 years will wander in the desert. And all of that generation from the age of 20 to the age of 60 will die where? In Bamidbar. So just before the Inter Eretz Israel, what happened? Hazal tell us that every year, Rabotai, listen to it, every year they used to dig a grave, Tisha B'Av, in the 9th of Av. They used to sleep in a grave. And in the morning, whoever wake up, wake up. And then, those that didn't wake up, they used to bury them. For 39 years.
Is it 15,000 a year?
Work it out, yeah?
Plus times
40 times 15, 600,000. Imagine that. You know that you're not sure if you have a guarantee to live. Every Tisha B'Av. Okay? So what happened? 1 year, in the end of the year, just before the Inter Eretz Israel, Hazal tell us that they saw 9 B'Av, Tisha B'Av. They dig the grave. They enter the grave. They're gone to sleep. They wake up in the morning, all of them awake. No one died. They say, maybe we miscalculated. Maybe it's not Tisha B'Av. Okay, they waited another day. Again, they're going back to sleep in the grave. In the morning, everyone wake up. And on and on and on until they got to the 15th. From the 9, that it's 9, Tisha B'Av, until the 15th of Av, they were sleeping. Then they say it's going to be, because the moon is full. It's a full moon. It's going to be Tisha B'Av. Do you understand what I'm saying? Then they realized that decree that they had finished. So that's the 4 good things that happened to the Jewish people.
Are you saying the original people that were supposed to die in the desert,
all died.
they all died?
They all died.
So it's only the next generation
that generation that stay alive, they enter Eretz Israel. You follow? The 5th good things that happened to the Jewish people, listen to that. Ula Omer, Ula, one of our sages. Yom shebitel bo HaMelech Hoshaya ben Elah. Hoshaya ben Elah was a king. He was a king in a Shomron. Yom shebitel bo Hoshaya ben Elah, שהיה מלך בשומרון, את הפרוזדיות. What it means? Let me explain to you. In the time of Yerovam ben Nevat. Everyone heard about Yerovam ben Nevat? Yerovam ben Nevat was a Jewish king. A Jewish king. That he was idol worshippers. And what has he done? He didn't want people to go up to Yerushalayim, to Bet HaMikdash. So from every corners, he put gods. and he put idols. And the Jewish people that wanted to go to Beit HaMikdash to worship, he didn't allow them. He stopped them. And he forced them to worship idols. Until came Hoshaya the Melech, the king, and he managed to cancel all of those gods. He destroyed the idols, and he allowed the Jewish people to go up to where? To Beit HaMikdash, to pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's mean, during the time of the king Hoshaya ben Elah, the idols and the gods that used to stop the Jewish people from going to Beit HaMikdash, to daven, to worship HaKadosh Baruch Hu, being cancelled. That's a good reason. Another 5 things. That's the 5th thing.
The same king.
No, that's Hoshaya. He managed to take Yerovam ben Nevat out, because Yerovam ben Nevat was also a Jewish king. But he was a wicked king. He used to worship idols.
How long was that king in power, Rabbi?
Which one?
Yerovam
ben Nevat. He had quite some time. It was a couple good years. I'm not sure exactly to the day.
Bad years.
Yeah. Rabbi Matna Omer. Rabbi Matna also was a sage. He says something else. Yom shenitnu bo mete beitar, or beiter, there's a different about it, likvura. The Gemara in Masechet Gittin, in page 57:1, tell us what's happened. Used to be a big city that called Beitar. Some of the Rabbonim today call it Beiter. I don't know, but I get used to the name Beitar. Everyone understand. It used to be a big city that called Beitar. That Beitar was a Ir Gdola LaHashem. What does it mean? Ir Gdola LeElohim. That was a lot of sages there, a lot of Torah there. And when they conquered Eretz Israel, they managed to enter to that city and they killed all the members. Nebuchadnezzar and Nebuzaradan, they killed all the members of the city. And what they done? All the body that was there, they didn't allow to bury the bodies. So what they done from those bodies? They built a fence. And for years and years and years, the bodies stay like this. Never got rotten, never disappeared, nothing. Sorry, it was Andrianos Caesar. What am I talking about, Nebuchadnezzar? Andrianos Caesar. Andrianos, the king Andrianos. You remember him? He killed 200,000 members of the city. What am I talking? I'm confusing. I'm saying Nebuzaradan and Nebuchadnezzar. Sorry, that was much, much before. So Andrianos, when he gone on the city of Beitar, okay, he killed 200,000. But not only that, the Gemara and Masechet Gittin tell us that the blood, according to the Gemara, it was next to the city of Lud. You know where is Lud? You know where is the airport in Israel?
Yeah.
Very close to there. Lud is not far from there. That the body, that the 200,000 people that he killed, Rabotai, the blood, make a river to the Yam HaGadol, Hazal tells. From so much blood was, that it's created like a river that from the city of Lud to the Yam HaTichon, the Yam HaGadol. Not only that, Hazal tell us that for 7 years, those body was sitting, you know, like a fence. And for 7 years, they didn't have to fertilize the ground. You know why? Because the blood of those 200,000 was a good fertilizer. Lo aleinu. Do you understand?
The Nazis did the same.
Yimach Shemam v'zichram. So what's happened? In Tu B'Av, 7 years later, the 15th of Av, Andrianos died, the decree changed, and they managed to take those bodies and to bury them. Then, that they not only that they can bury with a full body, not rotten. That's what we're saying in Birkat Hamazon, Birkat HaTov ve'Hametiv. What it means, HaTov ve'Hametiv? HaTov she'uv'u lekvura, that they managed to bury them, ve'Hametiv, that they never got rotten. we're thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Birkat Hamazon that in the end allowed them to be buried and their body never got rotten. So those are the 6 things. Okay. Now we have to understand, we say, what's the connection between the 15th of Av to Yom HaKippurim? Because the Mishnah says, לא היו ימים טובים לישראל כט"ו באב ויום הכיפורים. What's the connection? But before that, I'm going to go back to what Oren said. Oren asked and mentioned, you know why? It's Yom HaAhava. It's the Valentine Day. No. What was happening in Tu B'Av? Was women that never have a chance to find a shidduch. Couldn't find a husband. In Tu B'Av, Hazal tell us that those women used to dress nicely with a white dress, obviously with sneot, and they used to stand up on top of the grapes, on the top of the wine, and they used to make grapes, you know, from it, what's coming? Wine from the grapes. And they used to say to the men, the women that not married, and the bachelors, they used to say to them, Sa' einecha, Bahur, Sa' einecha. Young men, or adult, keep your eyes on us. Al tistakel bayofi. That means don't look at what the external, look at the interior. That means don't look at the exterior, how we look. See what we have inside. So what they is done today, instead of call it Yom HaShiduchim, lehavdim, they call it Yom HaAhava. השידוך?
יש כאלה מתאהבים קודם, אחר כך...
אני לא ראיתי, איך מתאהבים בלי... לא, מה זה ממבט... גם ממבט ראשון, אבל איך? יש שידוך אבל. מה, לא צריך שטחן. אני מספיק... מוטי, אני מסתכל עליך, אני כבר משודח. אני אוהב אותך. רבותיי, we have to understand... No. So, easy ask, what's happening? Moti said that the love come first. I said, how can it be? We have to meet each other first, before there is love. How do you know first if there is love? So Moti said, no, mimabat rishon. That means from the first look. But you still have to meet. That's the shidduch. Okay, but Rabotai, we have to explain now. Now you understand why they call it Valentine's Day, where they've gone wrong. Sorry?
One other thing.
Yes.
That the woman, when they went, they had to get other women's clothing.
Yes, the borrow.
Yeah, I didn't mention that because I didn't want to make a big story of that. Because that wasn't part of the show because they mentioned Valentine's Day. So I just explained where is the idea come. It's not from what we said before that they was thinking because the tribe of Binyamin allowed now to be remarried, intermarriage with all the other tribes. You remember because they've been isolated. Remember we explained.
Yeah.
So it's not because of that. But that wasn't part of the show.
But you know what he's right was I proposed to my wife 5 minutes after I met her.
You sorry?
I proposed to my wife 5 minutes after I met her.
So how you right? But you met her first, so it was a shidduch. I'm sorry. Okay.
Is it better to change your mind?
Let's leave the love. The love, you know what? You're all right. It's actually we need a lot of love. And on Shabbos in the show, please God, in Parshat HaShavua, I try to connect. You know, we always say, Bet HaMikdash, what was the main destruction that we had? The main cause is Sinat Hinam. You know, Moti showed me, and I think Oren sent me one of those clips on a video. If you want to see that, please remind me after the show. I'll show you that clip about Sinat Hinam. It's a beautiful clip that every one of us must see it. And today we should have Ahavat Israel, Ahavat Hinam, to love every Jewish person. And I want to tell you one thing, Rabotai. Hitler Yemach Shemo Vezichro. He didn't make a difference. If you're Sfaradi, if you're Ashkenazi, if you're Litvak,
Or a German.
He didn't care. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we're not allowed, has v'shalom, to do separation. We should love every Jewish person. There is a mitzvah in Sefer Vayikra, and Rabbi Akiva said, "Ve'afta le'ra'acha kamocha." That's come from where? From Sefer Vayikra. To love every Jew. If we learn to love everyone, it doesn't mean that you have to marry them. You're obligated to love every Jew. Believe me, the Mashiach will be here tomorrow. If we love each other, all of this nonsense finish. We have Bet HaMikdash. Mashiach coming. No more suffering. No more headache. No more migraine. No body pain. Nothing. Everything finished. Do you understand what we can have? That's the real love. That's the day should be. Then we call it Yom Ha'ava, when we all love each other. But let's connect now the 15th of Av to Yom Kippurim. What's the connection? So what's the connection between them? The connection between them that we know what's happened in Yom Kippurim. In Yom Kippurim, Chazal explained that the Jewish people, what's happened in Yom Kippur? When Moshe Rabbeinu came down from the mountain, you remember after he destroyed the first tablet, he was 40 days and 40 nights where? In heaven. And the 40 days and 40 nights he came down. What did he say? HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Moshe Rabbeinu, V'salachti kidvarecha. I actually forgive the Jewish people, as you say. And Moshe Rabbeinu came down with the second tablet in Yom Kippur and brought them the Luchot HaBrit, nachon? Okay. That means that Yom Kippur is a day of forgiveness. Nachon. So what used to be happen? In Tu B'Av, it used to be the Shidduchim day. You remember? Because they used to see each other. Don't look at the exterior. Look what's the interior. So when they used to meet, when? Tu B'Av, you remember? They used to go making shidduchim. You know what they used to do? They used to make the day of the wedding, you know when? When they used to make the day of the wedding? In Yom Kippur.
How could they do that?
Okay, how can they do? The Hatunah that we have, it's not the band that we have today, and the music, and the photographer. Ask them if they have photographer. Gurnish mit Gurnish. But it's Sheva Brachot, to drink, nachon? To eat something. You can't eat, you can't say, Bore Pri HaGefen. You can't. So it obviously was after, because they maybe didn't have a band, but they have music. So it was most probably just after Yom Kippur, they used to get married. What's the connection? The Gemara in Masechet Yerushalmi, Masechet Bikurim, tell us that when a person gets married, listen to that carefully, Rabotai. The Gemara, Yerushalmi, not Bavli, Yerushalmi. There is two Gemarot. Everyone understand that? The Gemara Bavli been written in Babylon. The Yerushalmi been written in Yerushalayim. In Masechet Bikurim, the Gemara there say that when a person gets married, I repeat again, HaKadosh Baruch Hu take all of his sin, put it inside a bottle, put a cork on top of that sin and seal it. That means that human being and that man and that woman, husband and wife, get married, then you're born. That means that that's a day of forgiveness for them. You understand? And when did they make the shidduchim? On the 15th of Av. And now that they're getting married when? On Yom Kippur. That means that all of it, when is it started? and 15 of Av. It's come to tell you that they're equivalent. When you decide to get married, on Yom Kippur, when you decide that that's the day of the wedding, HaKadosh Baruch Hu take all the sin that you've done in the past, put it inside the bottle, seal it up, and that's it. As long that you don't do any more sin. That means when a person married, he's a newly born baby. When a couple get married, Rabotai, it's a newly born babies. You know what is it? 20 years, 25 years, whatever the age is. All of those sins get compressed. That's it. No more sin when you get married. Moti, Moti have a new things. You know how to be pure. Moti say. Let me take my Moti say, when a person then, you know what he can do? Get divorced, get married. Get divorced, get married.
Hashem will catch on very quick.
He went definitely the shortcut.
Yeah, but if people know it, so up to the time they get married, they can...
Hasbe shalom. No, but what I'm saying is, usually, the youngsters, they don't know, when people young, they're young like a young bull doing stupid things. We're always young. We all understand. We do mistakes, So it's come to tell you that when the Mishnah in Masechet Ta'anit says, לא היו ימים טובים לישראל כט"ו באב, like the 15th of Av, וכיום הכיפורים. What does it mean? Now we're going to connect it. That the same like Yom HaKippurim, it's a day of repentance, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu forgive to all our sin. ט"ו באב, it's the same. You know why? When you decide that you're going to get married, you find your shidduch, you know what you're doing up in heaven? You have no idea. We don't understand when a couple get married, what's happening in the heaven. You know what's the first mitzvah that we have? Prorvu. That means multiply. Get married, open a new life. That not only that Hazal tell us, לא עלינו, חס ושלום, על אף אחד מבית ישראל, that when a couple decide to separate, I don't want to say divorce, מזבח מוריד דמעות. The altar's crying. So how much is it when HaKadosh Baruch Hu find a husband, a wife, and a wife, a husband? You know what's happening in the heaven? What simcha there is, what happiness, what joy. What joy there is in the world. How much HaKadosh Baruch Hu happy. So he come to tell us that when you find your bashut on Tu B'Av, on the 15th of Av, it is on the same level. You're laughing. Please God, you're going to get married this year. The same like Yom HaKippurim. The same like Yom HaKippurim, Rabotai. So now we can understand when we come to this Friday where we don't say Tahanun. Why it's such a happy day for the Am Yisrael? Because that day is equivalent to Yom HaKippurim. It's a day that all our sin gone. Not only that, we mentioned the other 6 things that happen.
So what we need to do beside not say Tahanun?
Sorry?
Drink wine.
No, don't drink wine. Don't drink wine. What you must do? I tell you what you must do.
Are you right?
Invite me to your wedding.
Yes.
Are you inviting me? Be'ezrat Hashem.
Rabbi, are you saying on Tu B'Shav?
Not Tu B'Shvat, Tu B'Av. The 15th of Av. Say the 15th of Av.
That we're going to be forgiven? Or
No, only the young couple. Only the young couple that decide to get married on that time. The connection. Any other question, Rabotai, because it's getting late. Any question, Oren? אין מה לעשות, לא אומרים תחנון. תהיה שמח. בא לך לאכול, תעשה ארוחה. Oren asked, what should we do? On Tu B'Av, sorry. It's a day like a Yom Tov. You want to do a Sauda, do a Sauda. It's a day of happiness.
What's a Sauda?
Sauda is a meal.
Oh.
A meal. But anyway, on Friday night, you're going to make a special meal. Shabbat Kodesh, Shabbat HaMalkah. You know, Shabbos is coming. The Queen is coming. So it's double. You know? Be'ezrat Hashem, I would like to bless all of you. Sorry?
But Shabbos night it's finished.
Yes, but it still continues. Because you're jumping from Yom Tov, kind of a Yom Tov, straight to Shabbos. It's not really, but you know what I'm saying. So it's all one. Maybe, please God, we're always going to have a good days, Yamim Tovim, that we should be blessed, all of us, and all Am Israel, all over the world. But only good news. Amen. Enough. We suffered enough. That maybe, that this is going to be, that we're going to move from Tu B'Av to Shabbat, to the Queen, the Shabbos, the Queen. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send the Mashiach speedily in our days, and we're not going to be any more tzores. Amen.
Amen.